Karine, I want to ask you about this political stunt by the Republican governors shipping the migrants to places like Martha's Vineyard and other places around the country so that they miss their asylum hearings and other things. And also tricking localities into thinking migrants like these were coming their way, like Joe Biden's home state of Delaware or New Jersey in preparation for the president's speech, and then finding out they're not coming. This seems like something that the president would take offense to, given his empathy to human beings. Does the president plan to say more about this, more pointedly? And does it include validation that there is indeed a crisis at the border at the same time?
So, Mika, I'll say this, and the president talks about how it's important to treat people with dignity. And what you're seeing from Governor DeSantis is inhumane. It is not solving a problem. It is not a solution. It is causing chaos and confusion. And these are people who are fleeing communism. You think about Venezuela, you think about Nicaragua, you think about Cuba. That's what they're fleeing. And they're being used as a political pawn. And that is not a solution. Now, if I were Governor DeSantis, I would ask his Senate colleagues, why have they not helped in solving this? They voted against historic funding for Department of Homeland Security. They have not been on board with what the president did on day one, which is put forth a comprehensive immigration reform so that we can actually deal with this issue. It is a systemic problem. We have had a broken system for many, many years, for decades. And what this last administration did before us, they decimated the immigration system. And so what we're trying to do is, again, make sure that there is a humane process and trying to fix what has been broken. But there is solutions on the table. Now, if Republicans would just do that and work with us on the solutions instead of doing these political ploys and using human beings as a political, as part of a political scam, that would be the way to go.
Karine, there's an op-ed today in the Wall Street Journal supporting increasing work visas. Does the Biden administration have a plan to ease the process so that more foreigners can come here and work legally, especially in this time where there's a need for more workers in America?
And that is something that the president has talked about, and understand that there is need for more workers in America. I don't have anything to share at this time. But look, again, we put forth a comprehensive immigration reform. The work that we have done these past 19 months is to make sure that we have more judges actually pushing through and trying to figure out the asylum seekers. We have 2,300 officers on the border to deal with folks coming in. And so we have taken steps to make sure that we're dealing with what we're seeing at the border. But again, it is not through political trick, right? It's not through a political scam. It's actually trying to figure out what will work and what the solutions are.
So, Karine, obviously, we know the midterms approaching, the defining issues, immigration, inflation, and obviously abortion rights in the wake of the Supreme Court decision this summer. The White House strongly condemned Michigan Attorney General nominee Matt DePerno, who likened Plan B to drug fentanyl, and said suggesting that the GOP might look to ban contraception next. But what more steps can the White House do right now, to try to protect and offer reproductive services for women across the country in light of what we are seeing some states really tighten access? So the day that decision came down on June 24th from the Supreme Court on Roe, on the Dobbs decision, the president took some bold steps on that day, making sure that the Department of Justice and Human Health Services were able to take steps, making sure they were protecting women who were crossing state lines, making sure that women had safe drugs to deal with, making their own decisions for their health care. But the president was also very clear is the way that we answer this, the way that we actually codify Roe is for Congress to act. And so he's going to continue to call on that. But I also want to call out, you just mentioned this elected official, this Republican elected official in Michigan. This is the extremism that we're seeing from Republicans. It is taking us backwards. It is not taking us forward. When you're talking about national ban, we heard from Senator Graham just
just last week, who, by the way, in August, early August, had said when it came to marriage, when it came to abortion, it should be a state decision. And now he's saying we should have a national ban. And, you know, it is an extreme place where these leaders in the Republican Party are. They are taking us backwards. They are taking away the rights that women should have. And it's not going to stop there. The president was very clear. It's going to go to marriage. It's going to go to contraception. It's going to go to privacy. And so this is something that we as Americans should understand. We should make sure that our voices are being heard loud and clear. And the president's going to continue to call that out.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. Good to see you.